we are moving on to Finland, yeah? So we're going from Amsterdam to Finland to David. David, can you hear us?
Hello, greetings from Helsinki.
Hey, David. So you can see we are in the heartland of tech in Germany. That's Baden-Württemberg. Reutlingen is our city where we're at. And we are broadcasting in the world and bring you guys out here. And it's a pleasure to meet you. We haven't met before, but I learned about your company and your products just 2 weeks ago from your agency, and it sounded like a really cool thing. And we all need to drink a lot, and we talk a lot, so journalists drink and talk a lot. So we are very eager to hear from your company, MySoda, and maybe you introduce yourself briefly, and did you prepare a presentation, I hope?
Yes, I did. So
awesome.
Thank you. Really nice to meet you. And my name is David Solomon, working as CEO for Helsinki-based MySoda. So we're a company fully focusing on home carbonation, and today I'll tell a story how a big decision we made, skipping fossil-based plastic, moving to more sustainable materials.
Sorry, one remark. Did you already wanted to start your presentation, or?
I will start it in a second.
Okay. No worries. I was just concerned you might not have clicked the right button so far. Thanks. Please go ahead.
Yeah. You should see it now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, David.
Brilliant. So before the interesting part, some boring facts. So our company is based in 2011. First started as basically selling some juices, but since 2015 we have been having fully focus on home carbonation. Today we are present in 15 countries, only in Europe so far. We have a bit over 30 employees, and as I said, our products is products that you can use to carbonate your tap water at home. And then we have today roughly 5,000 retailers around Europe. So these are the products, starting from left, gas cylinders, then flavors to your sparkling water if you want to add some flavors, and then more importantly, the sparkling water makers itself. So this is where we have 100% focus in our business. But I go a few years back to 2018. We were almost a garage company, filling gas cylinders in garage, and we had basically ugliest product in the market. And sorry to say, it was MySoda, but that was what we have. So we were producing or importing some OEM machines from China, but we started to grow, and then we thought, okay, we want to really go international. We want to challenge the market leaders, but we need to do something. We can't challenge the market with the ugliest kitchen device available. So we started with consumer study. We made a consumer study in France, which was our next target market, and also in Finland, which was the market we knew already. So we wanted to understand the consumers that doesn't yet have a sparkling water maker. And some really interesting findings we had. So first of all, the design. 50% of the consumers thought that the barrier to buy a unit is the design. They were not appealing enough. They were even ugly, and they didn't have more space in their kitchen counter. So that was the first thing to solve. The second was consumers was really interested in having an alternative device which is produced from more sustainable material. Also, they didn't want more plastic gadgets in their kitchen counter. So these were the main things we knew that we needed to really tackle. Then there was some other smaller things, like consumers didn't like the sound of a sparkling water maker, and they found out that they thought that changing the gas cylinder is not easy enough. So all these four things we needed to solve, to be able to challenge the market leader. So we started to think about materials. What can we, how can we replace fossil-based plastics? And many people think that in Finland there's a lot of koala bears and penguins walking in the streets, but this is actually what we have. 73% of Finland is covered with forest. We contacted different material suppliers globally, and they were offering rice composites, corn composites, which was not used in this type of machines or devices. But then we thought, okay, we are in Finland, we have lots of wood, let's talk to the biggest Finnish forest companies that we have. And there was quickly interest in the forest companies. We basically said we want to do world first kitchen appliance from wood. So what they had is a material called biocomposite, which was not yet been used in any kitchen appliance or appliance. There was really simple applications used, such as cutlery or cutting board. But we wanted to use this because we immediately knew that this was interesting. It's really sustainable. It's made from residues of Finnish forest industry. So we wanted to start testing the material. So this is how it's made. So as said, biocomposite, the material we are using is totally residue of Finnish forest industry, meaning that we don't need to cut trees to make our sparkling water makers. There's two materials. So 40% of the material is wood fibers, which is residue leftover from sawmill industries. And the other 60% is residue of cellulose production, both here in Finland. So combining these materials, we get biocomposite granulates, and this is the material we use to make the sparkling water maker. So again, totally residue of the Finnish forest industry, really interesting, sustainable product. And we started to make tests on this. It was not really an easy ride. The first test really failed because the wood composite stuck in our injection molds. So solving this took a bit over a year to get them not stick in the mold anymore. But after that, we managed to launch a device. But how is it more sustainable? Here is a comparison to ABS for production. So ABS is 4,000 tons per production ton, while you can see on the right side, we have the renewable-based biocomposite we are using, which is significantly less. But when we also include the biogenic credits, meaning because it's made from residue, it's acting as a CO2 storage, we go to negative. So the production emission is even negative. So this data convinced us that this is the material we want to work with, and yeah, after lots of R&D, lots of testing failing, we managed to launch the device. So the whole body of this unit is made from this material. There is some necessary plastic and inner metal parts that needs to be there for technical reason, but the whole body of this device is made from this biocomposite. And this we can do in multiple colors. So we selected some really not strong, but earth kind of friendly colors. So we have the device in 5 interesting colors. And as one thing was the design. So there was two main issues from the consumer study. So one was the design. We wanted to invest in design. We won two big design awards, so Red Dot and the IF Gold. Why I mentioned this here is actually the main reason we won this award was not actually the device itself, also that, but more importantly, the material, the sustainable aspect that we have, which is big part of the design. So that really helped us. Yeah. What's next? This change that we skipped fossil-based plastics, it took us to next level. Quickly, we managed to expand to 40 new markets. It gave us a competitive edge that our competitors did not have. But we are taking it further. As said, next we are expanding to outside Europe as well. We have already started testing even more sustainable material. So as said, now the wood fiber content is 40%, and the more wood fiber, the more sustainable it is. And now we'll increase it to 50%. And these tests we have already started, and we plan to start to use this material already this year. Today we are producing in China. That was the only option at the time, but in Q4 this year we are looking to start production also in Europe. And why I say also, we continue producing in China for Asian markets or Australian markets. So and for European markets we'll produce in Europe. So our goal is to always produce as close to consumer's kitchen or the target market as possible. Thank you. That was the short story from MySoda. Happy to take any questions.
I don't think it's a short story. I think it's a very interesting story. So guys from Finland trying to conquer the world with water. And I learned about your company in regards to the World Water Day that's coming up on March 22nd. I haven't actually heard about it, but while we prepared the conference, I saw it, and I was curious and interested to learn more about your approach. And so overall, first question, for example, your production facilities are now based in Asia, and you're planning to move to Europe. You want to produce your product over here. Is that a long-time strategy you already had, or is that in respect to the geopolitical situation at this point, or what changed your mind? Is it the climate aspect of it, or is it the sustainability aspect of this?
It's actually a combination of all of those. Originally, when we created this product, we did want it to make it in Finland. Quickly, we understood that there's no such injection molding expertise available. Also, we wanted to keep the price point in a level that consumer can buy it. We can make super sustainable product, but if it's not reachable to a consumer, then it's not very sustainable because it doesn't replace anything. But when we produce a unit in a right price point that consumers wants to buy, then we reduce plastic because consumer choose this sustainable product instead. But also there's a lot of other impactors that happened after that, such as the political situation globally, the logistics situation, the container pricing is super high. But the biggest reason is same as we have in our consumables. So other categories that we didn't talk about too much today is the gas cylinders and flavors. So there we have approach that we produce them as locally as possible. So for the Nordic markets, we fill our cylinders in Nordics, in Finland. Same goes with the flavors. We produce them in Finland, but for France and Benelux market, for example, we produce them in France so that we minimize the logistics. And now, as said, we will produce also in Europe. So going forward, the European units will come from a factory based in Europe and continue producing in China for Australia and Asian markets. Sorry for long answer.
No worries.
Okay.
Wolfgang.
Yeah, I think the idea of preparing your own carbonized drinking water is very convincing, and also the material you use is yeah, it's an attractive idea, I think. Although many people, sometimes including myself, prefer to go into the shops and buy pre-produced water from industrial companies, and because they might think perhaps that it tastes better, or it contains mineral stuff that you need for your health or something. This is the yeah. It's also maybe a little bit dependent on advertising and these messages. I don't know. Also, maybe in some major city, the water quality may be fine, but the water may taste not so fine due to some industrial processes. I don't know. What would you say to these to all these people to increase their readiness to use their own carbonizing devices?
Yes, good point. So in most countries in Europe, the water quality is really good. It's actually even better than bottled water, but this is not the case in every city, every country. Sometimes the water is good, but it has a bad aftertaste. So some of our consumers use flavors to hide the aftertaste. Some of the consumers has already solved the problem by they have filtering devices in their kitchens, yeah, some people add salt or minerals to their taste. But in most cases, the consumer has already solved the situation by filtering the water before.
I have a question about your founder story. So, where do you guys come from? I know locally you're in Finland, of course, but what's your background? Are you, let's say, water experts? Are you a tech company? Are you engineers? Or how did you come up with the idea to challenge the market? And there's a couple of big fish out there, I'll say. In Europe, I think they're everywhere. We use one of these competing machines at our home and in our studio. So how did you get the idea, David?
Yeah, we are a group of founders and with a bit different background. So we have some law expertise, some investment expertise, but the main or the key employees are actually ex-colleagues of mine back in the days when I was working with our lovely competitor SodaStream. So we do have the background of the industry, and yeah, we were thinking that okay, there's something more we can do. There's not enough competition, and we can do things more simple and more sustainable, and that's what we are doing. We are offering the consumer to have the most sustainable sparkling water in the world.
Do you guys offer a enterprise product? Because we basically just talked about, let's say, private consumer. So I know there's a company here also in the Baden-Württemberg area, Culture. I'm sure you know them. They offer a machine for small little companies and broader big size companies. So is there a strategy or a product that you target towards these markets?
Yes, this is on our R&D table. Talking about culture, we actually just made an agreement with them, a big collaboration. So they made a rather sizable investment into MySoda. So culture is now shareholder of MySoda. So good point. And yeah, water connects MySoda and culture, and now we are working together.
Interesting. I didn't know about that, but so it seemed an obvious question for a certain reason.
Yeah.
So
really good.
What's next? Or maybe you have a, before we sum it up in the future, you have a question.
Yeah, maybe an additional question. You mentioned in your answer to my last question, you mentioned filtering. Doesn't it make sense to add some filtering devices to your portfolio? Do you offer something like that?
This is relevant especially for US market. In Europe, the consumers that has this problem, as said, has already solved it. But we are also analyzing this, whether we should come up with a model that includes filtering as well.
So basically, to sum it up, David, what's next for your company? We talked about the commercial markets, the private markets in private households. What's next?
We are business-wise, as I said, expanding outside Europe, but we want to take the concept even further. Now we are offering really sustainable solution for consumers just to turn the tap water into sparkling water in seconds. They can add flavors into it if they want. That comes in a glass or plastic bottle. We want to get totally rid of the bottles. We want to go, or we are going from soft drink company to water and healthy flavor company. So we are looking into the new product categories, or basically replacing the soft drink part with vitamin drinks, healthy drinks, functional drinks. So then you can choose from our portfolio, do you just want to drink the tap water sparkled as it is, or you want to add vitamins or minerals, something like this?
Okay. I have one last question. What's your relationship with the, let's say, the big soda brands or the big, let's say, mineral water, Pepsi, Coca-Colas, etc.? Are you guys talking to each other? Are you just like watching, following each other, or are there? I'm pretty sure they are looking into what you guys are doing.
Absolutely, and I think especially this, after we came up with this wood-based sparkling water maker, those discussions within our company has obviously increased. So yes, we are watching, yes, we are talking, and they are watching and talking together. So we are having a dialogue with multiple big players.
But I can say you are basically the good guys or the better guys in that game, to say the least. Okay.
Yeah, beverage business is really big business, and we think home carbonation will be in the future really big part of it, and we are claiming to be the most sustainable option in this category.
And nevertheless, water is the drink #1 worldwide. Yeah, am I right? No, you can't be wrong about that. Okay, so David, this was an inspiring session, another inspiring session at Greentech.Live. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
This was short notice call. And last question, again, World Water Day, I mentioned it. Any activities planned by your company?
Will surprise you.
Oh, okay. We'll see.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much for joining our call, and see you at the next conference. Okay, thank you so much for joining our call.